everybody will stand and say the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody tonight. Everybody's had a chance to read the previous minutes, so I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? That carries. I see we have some students here tonight. If you'd like to stand and tell us your name and what class you're with.
Maya Kemper, I'm in Tim Mills' Pulse class.
Thank you.
Alexis Seibert, also in Tim Mills' Pulse class.
Thank you.
Kaylee Brown, also in the
Well, welcome. If you got any questions after me, don't be afraid to ask. Has everybody got an agenda? Did you? Okay. All right. Okay, on the public agenda tonight, we've got CN here from JCDC. She's going to give us a quarterly update.
Okay, so hello everyone. You can see I just passed out a handout that I'm giving as I go around to everyone, and so keeping everybody's time frame the same. This is just a recap of what we've done through July through September through our office, and so that's just for you to read through. I'm happy to answer any questions, but don't want to take a lot of your time tonight, but specifically with what our work here with the city of Dunkirk is really around the infill housing project, and so excited to say that there was some movement on that at the commissioners meeting this morning, but I'm going to defer to the attorney in the room to explain because I will mess it all up.
Oh no, so the commissioners did approve the DIDC donating those to DIDC. So we will move forward. I will move forward with the obtaining certificate deeds for those. So that should take about 120 days, I think. But to get the notices out, and we've already kind of started working on, that. So hopefully here by spring, we'll have deeds in hand for DIDC, and they can then move forward with whatever plans they've got for those properties. So it's approved. On to the next step now.
So that's very exciting. One of our steps is to really look down and look at those 19 properties and kind of start developing a plan to see which ones are realistic to be able to have space to build on, etc. So we'll be doing that in the interim. So very excited about that. Hope that would be a model for other communities in the county as well to embark on that. The other thing, we are been walking alongside of the mayor and the team and DIDC with the Okra grant to tear down what we're calling the green building. So we're providing support behind that. Of course, the goal is to get that applied for in the spring. And then we also visited with Rock and a team about the Stewart building and seeing what ideas behind that. And then just lastly, when we talk about Okra, I am, as of last week, past the final step. So I will be officially Okra certified the first of the year. So we'll be able to, I know, right? Yay or nay? I don't know. I shared that with my dad, who used to be a commissioner, and he's like, is that a good thing? I say, well, I think it is. I don't know. But anyhow, I'm excited about so Jody and I both are certified now, and so hopefully to add to the capacity of helping our communities in the county grow with Okra funding. So any questions? Okay, well, thank you very much and have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Hey, Steve, I do have one question. I know that you work with, does the Indiana Housing Development Authority, do they have any funding still available for developers and different?
We have them on the list. We don't know what specifically they have out right now, but Jody and I have been talking about it because they used to be an opportunity, and she pulled out the last list of actually not even last year, years and years, and we have it in a file for the new person that we're getting ready to hire, and we were just talking about that was a really good source of income that I think it was Amy was able to leverage, and so looking at what they have now. But it's on our list, but I can't speak to what they actually have in the warehouse right now, to give out to communities. But it's on our list to pass out. And to let you know, we are getting very close to hiring a new person in our office to sit in that seat January 5th to start. That would be our community developer and grant writer, and they would also be next year going through Okra certifications, because the goal is within a year, all 3 of the staff would be Okra certified.
Okay, that's all I have on public agenda tonight. Moving on to the mayor. First, I want to touch off the Todd building. It's been empty for quite a few years. We've got some private investors that's interested in getting their hands on the Todd building. It went through several years back. The council gives so much money, and DIDC give so much money. Tonight in the DIDC meeting, they're willing to turn it over to these private investors. So that brings it to the council meeting here. I'll let Wes tell you a little bit about what we gotta do to do that.
Well, if you probably all remember that we did end up filing a lawsuit it's probably been 6 years, 7 years ago now, and it's just sort of been out there, right? The whole goal behind that in the first place was just kind of stop the bleeding, as far as issuing more money toward situation. And since that time, we've just sort of left that hanging there, knowing that realistically, the city was probably never going to see, or DIDC, any of that money come back to us. But it does provide a little bit of leverage, because that's still out there, right? And so in order for them to sell it or transfer it, that whole lawsuit's going to need to be resolved in one fashion or another. So one of the things that I know that Jack and I have talked about, and we probably talked about here, maybe some of you are aware of, is like, it kind of gives us some leverage on who that building gets transferred to. And I've told, I know it's been listed with a realtor in the past, and that realtor reached out to me and I said, listen, I think that before the DIDC, and I would recommend to the city of Dunkirk that we dismiss that suit, that there be some showing or indication that you have a credible buyer. But what I mean by a credible buyer is somebody who's not gonna just let it sit there and fall to pieces, right? That's too important of a building for the city, right in the heart of your downtown. I know there's been a lot of money invested in it now, a long time ago, but I mean, still, I think the feeling is the bones are good of that building. We'd sure like to see it get in the right hands. I don't think there's really any appetite for either the city or DIDC to own it again. We'd ultimately like it in private hands and being developed into something. So I've said that, and I think that it sounds like I talked to Dane last week on the telephone about this, and DIDC has indicated the level of comfort with the potential buyers. So if this body and the city is comfortable joining in that dismissal as well to the right folks, we would just dismiss our suit and essentially, take our lumps. Like, I'm telling you now, you're not going to get any money. We've given out way more money than what the building's worth. We certainly don't want it back. You're never going to get it back and sell it for more than what we've given out already. So the goal would be get it developed and get somebody in there that's going to contribute to the city. So I guess if there was some vote yay or nay, if the right buyer, and it sounds like there has been, maybe Jack would rather talk about that offline, because I don't think it's necessarily a done deal yet, but it sounds like the IDC was comfortable with it.
So like I said, we need the council to be in on this dismissal, is what you want to call it, so we can get this in the hands of private investors, so we can get some retail apartments upstairs. I think this is the best we're going to do. Like he says, we're not going to get anything back out of this. I think it's sat there long enough, and it's in dire need of the facade getting done again. These private investors that's the first thing they're going to start on. So there's some paperwork that's got to be drawn up. to make this go in the city's favor, it's still gotta have you guys' approval. So. Any questions I'll try to answer, or Wes can answer. It's, I'm gonna say it's kind of my fault. I've been bullheaded. Maybe I should have not felt the way I did about it. But I think it's time to move on and do better for the city.
I mean, I think it was a good idea to keep what we had in place, just to have this kind of leverage, because otherwise it may have changed hands 10 times. I mean, really, I don't think it was a bad move for us to just sit there with our lawsuit pending, to be quite honest with you. It's prevented, I feel like, a worse outcome, you know, of it being sold without any input at all. Like, we don't have a right to object to anything normally, right? If they want to sell, they can sell to whoever they want to, but for this lawsuit that's actually pending, that would need to be resolved before it can be transferred. So it's worked out for us, I think. Probably got us more than what we could ever have hoped for, knowing we weren't ever going to get any money, at least having some leverage to say, yeah, we'll dismiss if this is the buyer, but no, if you're just going to sell it to another fly-by-night that's going to come in here and let it fall down around our ears.
One question
What's that?
about DNC.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll speak to, for the EIDC, since I'm on that board. We made a motion to waive the lien, contingent on you getting the agreement. We don't want to waive the lien until we get
Right, and I
signed
thought-
word, signed, that everything is
Yeah.
transferred. And
Right. I told Dane, I said, well, you know, we're gonna have to see some signed paperwork, right, that there is a deal in place, right, that this is actually gonna happen. This isn't a, well, we think, or it might happen, like, oh, we wanna see proof it's gonna happen, and if it does, I mean, I can file it the next day, right? So yes, it's gonna be contingent upon this deal actually being consummated, not just an idea.
Exactly.
No way he can work around that if there's a hole, a gap. We'll
Well,
still be
yeah, I
in control
mean-
of our lanes.
Yeah, if the deal falls through, then obviously it's not gonna happen, right? But it's gonna be, I mean, I want it to get to like closing, right? I want somebody to call me and tell me, and I'm guessing that my title company will be involved in that transaction, so we can make sure that happens.
Okay.
Just knowing who I think's involved, so I think I'll have some control over that as far as the timing of it. Like, I'm not gonna dismiss it tomorrow, and then for whatever reason, the deal falls apart, right? Takes two to tango on that kind of thing, and just because you have a willing buyer, I don't even want to begin to guess on the seller side of things, what there's going through their mind. So,
You can put in there, you can word that it's contingent upon them.
well, I just need to, yeah, I don't necessarily need, I just need to know that if that happens, right, if it goes to an approved buyer, you're okay with me dismissing the suit. Like, I don't know that necessarily needs to be written into their agreement or anything, but I think, I have said to Dane, I think on behalf of VIDC and the city, I think you can assure them that will happen. And I think there's a level of trust or comfort there that if we say it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, right? And so I think I'll have the ability to know that, yes, this is a deal or not a deal, because it's gonna get to that stage where before they sign the deed, they're gonna want to know that that's released. And I can make that happen on a pretty short
Well,
notice.
that's something else. Can he go ahead and take control of the deed and then have us release it afterwards? So there's
Could.
no gap in there?
Could, yeah. Some of it may just depend on, I don't know how the deal's gonna be financed. If it's gonna be a cash deal, fine.
I would rather do
But,
it that way.
well, I would too, but I don't know, there may be a bank involved or a lender or somebody else that may want, and, well, I doubt it too, but I'm just, like, I'm just saying, I mean, if that happens, then if there's some, there may be forces outside of our control that may necessitate it being filed, you know, however it gets filed, but I've assured them that it will be done if the sale gets to that point, if a sale gets to that point.
Any other questions anybody think of?
a motion, we move forward on the sale of the top building with the lien still intact until the last minute.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? That carries. Also under the mayor tonight, we had I think everybody knows in the council, but maybe some of the audience don't, we're updating our zoning ordinances and stuff. We got our plan commission together to fill them in on what needs to be done on their part of it, so I think we got that done. Thanks to Tim. He's gonna march us through this. So. That's a good thing for the housing we got coming up in these buildings. Everything needs to be updated. Randy Story, our zoning administrator, he's fairly new. There's a lot of things that we're gonna learn from him and him, so I think it's a good thing. Also, I wanted to have Wes and the council, we had an ordinance, I don't know when we did it, 6 months ago, where right-of-way permits for our utilities, but CARES wanting to know where we're gonna put that money now, so. Do we do, like a non-reverting fund, or we put it back in the general, or what's the basis on that?
Don't know the answer to that off the top of my head. I'd have to look and make sure. It might be something you want to check with the State Board of Accounts if there's any, if they're gonna have any heartburn over creating a non-reverting. I'm trying to think if we could create, makes sense to keep it in road and streets somehow or another.
Well, that was one of my questions, if I had to go through the manager, I could go to general.
I don't know the answer to that off of my top
I'm
of my
starting to
head.
get quite a few permits in, so.
Okay, fees, let's see, I know, let me look into that and see if I can come up with I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head, but where would you like to put it? Let me ask you that. If we could, if we had our choice, where would be
Well, don't
the?
ask for that.
I guess we better find out if there's any rules on it, State Board of Council.
Well,
say
yeah,
that's
I mean,
gotta
I think
go back
that's
to
the,
streets.
but if there's not, like, where would the, ideally, where would you put it back in MVH, or would you want to put it, I mean, and maybe we can't, right? So that might be the answer if we check with the statute and State Board of Accounts, and they say,
Could
It
it
has to
go
go
like
general.
in maybe rainy day fund or something like that? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, generally, the point behind the non-reverting fund is to kind of accumulate funds for some purpose, right? So, you know, if you were looking, it might make sense to put it in a fund to use toward your community crossings match or something. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
thinking out loud here. Maybe that's something you all need to just think about. Where would make the most sense to put it if you can?
yeah.
I mean, if we can't, we can't, but if it's up to us how to restrict the use of those funds, then think about where it would make the
Okay,
most sense.
we'll see if you can get us some answers, and then we'll talk about it next
I'll go
meeting.
ahead and I'll email State Board of Accounts too, just see if
Yeah.
it has to go.
Somewhere, maybe they'll say, no, it has to go into this fund. That could be, but
That probably should be, they're probably, that should then be put into our ordinance, I would
So,
assume.
yeah, we'd have to amend the ordinance then. to
If we
say-
don't, because we never, I guess we never talked about where it would be deposited.
Right. So, yeah, it's worth thinking about and asking the question. If we can create a non-reverting fund, we'll just maybe do an amendment and say fees generated from this fund are designated to the such and such non-reverting fund to be used without appropriation for X, Y, and Z. Kind of like the one we were just talking about earlier, you know, with the blight.
Would that be possible to put it in the blight fund?
If they don't care where we put it, if there's no requirement that it needs to go into roads or it needs to go here, I think you guys could decide what kind of fund that goes into, if they allow it, right? So, if it's allowed.
We'll visit that later. Tim, I don't want you to have to give a whole big spiel again, but just kind of introduce yourself, if you would, to the council. Some of them was here, some wasn't. What you're going to do with our zoning ordinance, if you would, please.
All right, yeah, we'll make this an abridged version compared to what we did. I did give something out to everybody that was here before, so I don't know if you were here. You got one? Yeah, that's right, you guys were here. You did not, though. Yeah. So, does anybody want a copy? Our high school friends, do you know? Sure, that's proof that you've been at this meeting, so you can give that to your educator, your instructor there. But, does anybody else want one that has a? There you go. I don't want you to feel left out. There you go. Yeah, we're going to work with the community on updating your zoning ordinance. And this is going to be a real important part of how you control what's going to go on with Dunkirk for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. It really tells, it tells the world, tells everybody that wants to do business in Dunkirk, how we want to do business here in Dunkirk, regarding, for instance, properties. Where do you want residential? Where do you want residential growth to take place? Where do you want industrial growth to take place? Do you want industry to be right next to a residential property? Those are the type of things that you're going to look at. Now, we're going to be looking at a series of other things because your zoning ordinance, it was in the 80s when you last updated it. So we're going to make sure that that zoning ordinance is compliant with state and federal law as well. Of course, Wes will be looking at this as part of this process also. But I did include a list of items that the mayor and I have been putting on the checklist of things to look at. And I purposely have the word other there in, at least 4 spots. Talking with the Plan Commission, we've already added a few that we're going to have some discussions about. But I purposely left that open because I want to make sure that if there are things that you want to look at, you as a council member want to look at, definitely let's bring that up as part of the conversation. And then I also recommended that, Kara and the mayor be on a steering committee, also working with, our new zoning director, possibly that may be the 3rd person on that committee, but that'll be sort of the steering committee that deals with the daily operations. It is going to be your plan commission that we'll be working with primarily, but you're also going to see me quite a few times and other people on our team as part of this entire process. But this is really just one of the steps that Dunkirk is taking in order to be able to, move into the 21st century and to be able to grow and just become that thriving community that you really, have the potential to do. So we'll be working through this process with you. We think it's going to be a 3-month or so process. I think I said earlier March, it's going to be March, April by the time we wrap this up because there is a lot of public involvement and a lot of discussions and a lot of planning and a lot of working with every one of you, both on Plan Commission and then also on the council itself. But ultimately, this is part of how you control what's going to go on within the city of Dunkirk, and we even had a discussion, do we look outside of the city of Dunkirk? And that'll be a different discussion to have. But yeah, very quick, very, very simple, but I think this sort of outlines what I gave you, generally what we're going to be doing. But I live up in the city of Decatur. I've been working with communities for about 35 years now, and just thoroughly enjoy when a community really wants to take the reins and control their future. So I look forward to working with you as well as do several others on the Avonmarsh team. So happy to entertain any questions that you might have at this point in time. But we're looking to probably have a kickoff meeting probably next week or the following. More than likely, it'll be one of the first or second week of December, and then we'll sort of lay back for the Christmas break and everything like that. But we do want to get the kickoff meeting going because there's a lot we need to do here in the next 3 or 4 months. So
Okay,
look forward to working with y'all.
thank you, Tim.
All right.
Wes, you got anything left?
I'm just going to warn you that I am not going to be able to be at your December 8th meeting. I have my annual winter conference for prosecutors that week. So I'm happy to get you anything. I think we're pretty well caught up on, as far as the annexation piece. That is on the table, right? I mean, so it's essentially filed as of today, right? And so I would mark it on there somewhere that it was filed today. And so we can proceed with that and have our hearing then on the 22nd. The public hearing. I've sent you all that, right? I'm gonna ask you again. I always get worried when I forget that I forgot to send it.
You said stuff.
Okay, and so that'll get in the paper and be advertised. So if you do have anything that you want prepared in advance or something, please just let me know. I'll be around next week. But we'll be having to go down there on Sunday night. I'll be back on Wednesday afternoon. So Just let me know if you need something, I'll get it ready for you. But, worked out for me too on that annexation thing, the way the timing worked out, because I won't be able to be here on the 8th.
All right, thank you, Wes.
Yep.
Donna?
Okay, the Parks Department has an APV for advanced signs and graphics for $1,048 for signs for the park.
Okay, you see, we run that through the board of
Yeah, the
work,
board works approved.
so we won't have to have a motion on that thing, so.
So we need a motion now?
No.
Oh, okay.
Do you have anything else, Donna?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Jesse?
Got a couple things. So, we have a quote for utility supply for a wheel valve exerciser for $9,743.73. This is another one of these tools that help us not call coolies in to our city and our departments. And you bought us a vac last time. That vac has saved us enough money now that we've replaced 48 more valves on the water meters by the money that we saved from not going to coolies to put in our fire hydrants. So that's kind of how important this valve is. And I'd like to see if you'll let me have that as a motion to pass.
Got a motion on the floor for a valve exerciser. Do I have a second?
A second.
Got a motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? That carries.
I give you one of these, did I, Karen?
I don't know.
That's the valve. All right, so Brock and Aaron are gonna go to a conference here. Next couple of days, they'll be gone for a little while. And his schooling is going good, so at the end of December or the 1st of January, he's gonna be through with this class. And somewhere January on, he'll be able to be ready to take the test as soon as it's out there posted for him to sign in. So that's good news for Brock and the city. I told you, with the $28,657 we saved, that we bought to $84, or 84 more units. And we have 1/3 of the city done. And with the second third, it's gonna be the southeast side. We got the northeast side done now. So we'll be doing that after January. And then 2027, we will finish up with our project with the meters that we're allowed to buy in our contract or in our budget. And that's all I have, Jack.
All right, thank you, Jesse. Christie?
I don't have anything at this time, Jack.
Thank you. Dan?
Yeah, I have an invoice here from Jones and Henry for the rest of their engineering services for our construction permit and for the phosphorus and the limits and stuff out at the wastewater plant. I know they've got everything, they submitted all that, the plans and stuff to NDOT or to the state, and hopefully that's, we should be getting that done hopefully before it gets too nasty. So that invoice is for $7,442.50. I think it's the last one for that project, and I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Got a motion on the floor for $7,422.50. Do I have a second? 22,
Second.
42.
Yeah, I wrote it wrong.
Same price.
No, be for $7,442.50.
7442 or 7422?
250.
7442.
Okay, so I was wrong on this.
So do I have a second on that?
Second.
You did.
Randy did.
Okay.
Do we have a third?
No, we'll keep it right there. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? That carried. All right, Randy,
Nothing tonight.
nothing tonight. Good. Thank you. Karen?
I need approval for accounts payable vouchers 33914 to 34031 in the amount of $220,249.95.
I make a motion to approve the accounts payable vouchers.
Got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? That carries.
Then I need approval for allowance stock at 1111 to 1118, the amount of $39,542.18.
Motion to approve dockets.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? That carries. Is that all you have?
That's all I have.
Does the board have anything else?
I would like to take a minute to thank Engineering Resources. We signed an agreement with them at our last meeting to do our asset management plan, and they've got our streets all, asset management plans have been completed and submitted. Our road inventory upgrades have been submitted to NDOT, so thank them for getting on that quick.
Yeah, next year there's you have to be certified phaser.
Hazer.
You have to have certification in phaser to update the streets. Either gonna have to turn that over to the person over the streets or the supervisor. It's an 8-hour class, Dan.
Yeah, I doubt if it's that long, but it's 1 day thing, I think.
So I'll leave that up to you, Randy, but which one of you guys is, Brad said he would take it, but it's in your hands.
I'll let you know if I find out when it is. They offer that several times a year, I think.
Does the board have anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.